Okay, hi everybody, welcome to TV Talk with Natasha and Kim, and a very special episode on the last episode of Doctor Who, the Christmas special, last episode of Matt Smith. So, I've got some friends joining us today. I'm going to go through them real quick. First, we have the man who got me into Doctor Who, so the reason why I'm feeling this way is his fault. Christopher, Chris, say hi. Next, we have Jesse from The Nerd Truth. Jesse, what's up?
Geronimo.
Next, my co-host for TV Talk and our better half, Natty Willie, a.k.a. Natasha.
Hola.
And back again with us is Shawn from the Almost Human podcast. Shawn, what's up?
Hey, everyone.
Okay, guys, so let's get started. Now, I know we're going to talk about the last episode, the Christmas special of Doctor Who, but I did want to get into the 50th episode because I thought it was awesome, and we should just talk about it because we haven't talked about it yet. So, what did you guys think about the 50th special, and how many doctors were in that special, man? I counted, 1, 2, 3, was it 4? Is there 5? There's 5. So what did you guys think? I'm going to start with Shawn.
I really liked it. Honestly, there was all 13 if you think about it. They did show them all. I really wish that Eccleston could have been in there. I don't know, there's a lot of rumors flying about how he felt about being Doctor Who. So I'm not sure if, what was true, what was not, but overall, I really liked the episode because I'm a huge Tennant fan. Although his hair fluffer wasn't there, so I don't know what was going on with that. He had flat hair. I loved it though. Overall, and I thought it was one of the best, not Christmas specials obviously, but one of the best specials that we've seen so far.
I completely agree with that. I did not know. I've never heard any rumors about Eccleston and how he feels about Doctor Who. What's that about?
I don't know. It was posted that he did an interview. He was happy to be the Doctor, but I guess he didn't like the way the fandom was so split. So, like I said, I don't know how much was rumor, how much was true, but, because you have the Whovians who liked everything. You have the people who were just new Whovians who just wanted to watch New Who and Kim.
I'm a new Whovian, so I guess I'm in that category.
And so I don't know, like I said, how much is really true about that whole thing, but I'm really hoping that if they do another special somewhere where other doctors are in, that maybe he'll, jump on board.
That would be awesome. Let's just go down the line. So, Natasha, how'd you feel about it?
I really enjoyed the 50th episode, or the 50th anniversary episode. I really felt like the chemistry between Tennant, Smith, and John Hurt was great. I really felt that they did a good job with what they were doing. The storyline itself, I thought was interesting just because Gallifrey has always been kind of in and out of the picture as far as in the different seasons of Doctor Who. So just them mentioning it again and them being able to reverse what was done a long time ago was interesting, and I'm wondering where they're going to go with that. You kind of got a hint of it this last episode, but just what more they can do with it.
Okay. Jesse?
I thought it was great. The chemistry, of course, between Matt Smith and David Tennant I thought was really cool, and Tennant was my first Doctor, so it was just the whole thing of seeing him once again in his suit and, just in the sneakers and the coat, especially at the end when he has the coat on, I thought was pretty cool. And I like John Hurt. I thought he was really, really good. I thought it was neat how they kind of did the whole new mythology, bringing him in, making him the Lost Doctor. I liked seeing Rose again. Thought that was pretty cool. I wish I would have been able to go like and seen it in 3D, just for the whole aspect of that, and even seeing it in the theater, but I didn't get to. But I liked the story. I thought it was good. I really liked it.
Okay, and Chris.
I really like finally getting to see some of the Time War, all the things they've talked about since it came back. Finally getting to see who the Doctor of the Time War was. Getting to see 10 and 11 together finally.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And I just, you know what's funny to me is Doctor Who and its special effects, because when you looked at the and I bought tickets to the movie and I completely forgot about it. I bought tickets and I was at home. Here's the thing: it was after it premiered, right? And so I was at home just waiting, like, for the premiere and blah blah blah, and I was like so excited, and I watched it and completely spaced on it. I was so mad. I remembered like an hour into it. I was like, I was gonna just, taken out a $20 bill and set it on fire. But I really regret forgetting about that. I don't know how I did it. I don't know. I was really excited to see that because I forgot how much I liked the 10th Doctor. When I started watching it, when Chris pushed me into Doctor Who, Matt Smith was already the Doctor, and I went back and started with Eccleston, but knowing that I would get to Matt Smith. And so I didn't really form attachments to any of the characters previously. So this is kind of, so Matt Smith is kind of my Doctor. But I really enjoyed Tennant, and seeing him again made me remember that. I thought that was awesome. And poor Chris, I send him messages all the time, like, wait, what does this mean? And oh my, like I watched the 50th episode again the other day, and I don't know if I just spaced that was the 8th Doctor in the beginning or what, but I'm like, wait a minute, duh. I don't know. And so it was just like, now it all makes sense. But here's my question. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was like, isn't John Hurt, though, more like 8.5 or something?
Yeah. I guess. That's what they call him.
Yeah, he's like the 0.5 Doctor.
Or I don't know. Maybe it's up in the air. I mean, you guys, what do you guys think? 8.5 or 9?
No, I'm not renumbering. 10 is 10.
Yeah.
He's just the War Doctor.
Yeah,
he's the War Doctor.
He's the unnamed Doctor.
I liked him, though. I liked Hurt. I would have watched more episodes with him. So, here's my question. The curator at the end, who is he? I mean, I know who he is, but who is he in that aspect? Does anybody know? Somebody
I think he was the Doctor.
Yeah, it's strongly hinted that's the future Doctor. That he'll be going back to the Tom Baker face later on.
And so, okay.
I was just thinking it was Tom Baker's Doctor, just gotten older, because the timeline would still fit.
But how?
That was like he was talking. He was saying that they'd be revisiting other faces down the line, but only the favorites. That's where I took the future Doctor from. And calling himself the curator now instead of the Doctor.
Oh, they could mix it all up.
I see that.
Chris went deep. I didn't even think about that.
How many times have you watched it, Chris?
I think there's about 3 now.
Oh, okay.
There's probably people here who have watched it more than I have at this point.
No, I've only watched it, I think, 3 times.
I watched it twice.
I watched it twice.
I have it saved, though. I'll watch it again. I know, I'm never going to delete it off my DVR.
I got it for Christmas, it just hasn't shipped yet.
Yeah, I'll probably buy it too. It's so funny because like I DVR'd it. Like I said, I'm in Houston, and I DVR'd it on my parents, and they told me today that they're switching out the provider, so everything's gonna get deleted. And I'm like, no, I've got another couple of days here. So, but okay, so Gallifrey, they saved it, but they don't remember. Like they're not gonna remember. I don't get that.
No, well, Matt Smith remembered in the last episode that he saved Gallifrey.
Exactly. That's why I'm confused.
It's because he's the last Doctor.
Yeah.
I guess they've done this in the past with the other Moldy Doctor specials. It's only the oldest Doctor keeps the memories. All the other Doctors forget everything that happens up until they leave. Which is weird.
Well, that's one way to keep the canon going. Why Eccleston's Doctor was so angry, and then Tennant's was kind of sad, and then then we get to Matt, which at the beginning he was like trying to get over it, and he finally, well, like they said in the 50th, the one who forgot, because he just didn't want to remember it. But then everything's changed now.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have Mr. Capaldi.
We will get to that. We will get to that. I'm not ready, okay? I'm just not ready. And then the other question that I had that I probably should know, and I don't, I need to turn that off, the sound, is the lady who is in charge of everything. I cannot remember that division for the life of me. The one that picked up the TARDIS. Yeah. Whose daughter is she?
She's the daughter of Lefford Stewart, he was around since the second Doctor.
Okay, that's why I don't know.
They do reference him in which one was it, Chris or Jesse?
Ken referenced him a couple times when the Sontaran Stratagem. They talked about him being retired.
Right, but when they say that he died, that he calls and the nurse picks up.
The Doctor was going back to Lake Silencio to be killed by River, and he's thinking he has all the time in the world, and he finally goes back to visit him and finds out he's died.
So sad.
It's kind of the moment that pushes him toward accepting his fate.
Oh. This stuff is starting to make sense in my head.
I think Kim needs a light bulb just like drawn over her head right now. Oh, no.
Yeah, actually I do. It's so funny when you watch stuff. Oh, I hear some echo. Guys, I might randomly mute some of you just to get out the echo, but I will unmute. Let's see here. Well, I'm talking. So it's like sometimes when I'm watching Doctor Who, like I will see something in an episode and then 5 minutes into it, I'm like, oh, now that episode I saw 10 episodes ago makes sense. And that's what happens to me throughout like my watching of Doctor Who. And like I said, I started with the 9th Doctor. How many of you guys have been watching since the first Doctor or before the 9th?
None of us here are that old.
Yeah, I know, but you could have always gone back.
Started in 1996, the 8th Doctor began. That's kind of where I started watching it.
I started with Eccleston, but then I've gone back periodically and watched old episodes. But my knowledge of the old Doctors isn't really that good. It's really, really patchy. That's where Chris will come in and help me.
And Shawn, who did you start with?
I actually, like forever ago, had Baker on when I was little. So, I mean, that was like a long time ago. I don't remember a whole lot of it. So 9 is really where I got into it big, but I'm buying from the beginning. So I've been watching it. Some of the old ones are so cheesy.
Love those cheesy graphics.
So I only have maybe like a dozen of the older ones because Jason might kill me if I buy it that many at one time.
And Natasha, you started with Eccleston, or when did you start?
Yeah, I started with Eccleston. In fact, I started not too long after you did. As far as watching, I started on the 9th, and then I worked my way up to Smith.
Okay, well, let's get into what I've been avoiding for days now. This last episode of Doctor Who, the Christmas special. You know what my issue is like I said, I started with Eccleston, but I watched it knowing I was going to get to Matt Smith. It's part of the reason I started watching it. That and my friend over there, Chris, bugging me about watching it. So he's my doctor, and so this hurt. Like, really really hurt, and I know, Shawn, you probably went through the same thing with the Tenant.
There was tears. There still are. Every time I watch that episode, there's tears.
I feel like I got kicked in the stomach. So let's talk about this Christmas special and what you guys thought. I can tell you, I mean, and I need to do more research about Moffat, but I thought the writing in this episode was a little, I don't know. It didn't keep my interest as much as the 50th special. I don't, what did you guys think? I will start with Chris this time.
Yeah, it seemed like they blew up the 50th, did everything right, and then this was just seemed like that was really the end of Eleven's story, and this was like an epilogue to it, just to ride out the last episode and become Capaldi.
That's a good way of putting it. Jesse?
Well, I'm biased, and I really liked this episode. I mean, no, the writing wasn't quite as good as the 50th, but I thought it was still a nice send out for Smith, and Moffat does try to tie up all the loose ends of all the story plots and everything throughout Matt Smith's time. The whole silence will fall when the question is asked, but finally, I'm getting no feedback, by the way. But that was explained. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into some of the other things later that really kicked all of us in the stomach. But for now, I can say that I do enjoy this episode very much. It's not the writing isn't quite as good as The End of Time with David Tennant, but for what it is, I enjoyed it very much up until the last 5 minutes.
Okay, and Natasha, what did you think about it?
I was a little underwhelmed, except for like maybe the last 5 minutes. I mean, I shed like one tear. I think I was more gushing when Tennant was with the last episode of Tennant changing into Matt Smith, or even Christopher Eccleston changing into David. Like I don't know. I think Matt deserved a better send-off. I don't know. It wasn't as emotionally charged. Maybe because the majority of the episode wasn't as suspenseful to me as when David Tennant, ended, or when Christopher Eccleston ended it. Like, I don't know. I was a little upset.
All right. And Shawn, what did you think?
I thought the cadence of the whole thing was a little off. It was like the beginning, it was going okay, and then you had the middle part that just seemed to slow down, like nothing was happening, and then you get to the end where I don't know. Do you want me to do the spoilers or anything?
No, this is going to be spoilers are a given. So
okay. So after Clara, who I still don't like, but whatever. After she whispers into the crack, which that sounds weird. And Gallifrey intervenes, that was huge, and I thought that was great. But I would have totally given up seeing some of the old, Matt's old enemies to get more of what happened in between, the nuclear explosion of him, basically killing off all the Daleks with, his regeneration energy, and that second that we had with Matt to Capaldi, because I had really started, when you see little Amelia, that's when the ugly cry was starting. And I was just it was, the tears were coming, and, I'm just hiccuping. And then the second he regenerated, because it went off screen, and we've seen it on screen all this time, even if it was just a little bit, you see the glow and then them turn into the next Doctor, I thought it was a big jip for Matt, even though he had the huge, bigger send-off. And so, as soon as that happened, I instantly stopped crying. And I just, really loud, I'm like, what the? And, everybody in the house is like, what's wrong? And I'm like, Moffat! Shaking my fist at the TV, yelling Moffat. Nobody here understood what I was talking about.
And... Oh, sorry.
The cadence was just off, all in the middle.
I got a little more emotional about the little robot head, or the Cyberman head, taking its last little, like, buff, like, reminding him to remove, or to, you know, make sure he changes the phone into, like, the main inside of the TARDIS, and I'm just like, alright, I don't know. I did get emotional, like Shawn said, when Karen Gillian came back, and, you know, little Amelia Pond came back as well, a little with running and everything. But I was hoping they would show River again. I was a little upset about that too.
I was hoping River would be on.
God, I don't know. I'm like, why? My dad, like, I was watching this, and nobody in my family understands. Okay, and so I seriously sat all of Christmas Eve and most of Christmas watching this marathon, and my dad would walk by and he'd be like, "Oh, so that's his girlfriend?" I'm like, "No, he's married. That she's," and he'd be talking about Amy, and I'm like, "She's married to Rory," and he's like, "Well, it doesn't look like that." And I'm like, "What? You just passed by for like 2 seconds," and so that brings me to like the question, because we saw her at the end and not River, and what is the? Does anybody understand their relationship? Because I don't.
I think they're just like, well, in the very, very beginning, yeah, when she is like attacking him and kissing him, I mean, yeah, I think there was something more, but then it just became like a really deep friendship, in my opinion, kind of like with Tennant and Donna.
Yeah.
Because in that one, you know, episode when the Master is taking over with Ten, you know, he says flat out, he's like, "Do you really think I'd leave my best friend, you know, without any defenses?" Talking about Donna, and I kind of feel like it was the same thing, that they had been through so much, and they were family, and that was his only, like, him and Rory and River and Amy. I mean Amelia, yeah, both, whatever. I mean, they all kissed at one point, which was kind of weird till we found out what was going on. But I mean, that was family, and you know, he hasn't had any other family, and so that's why I think that was who he's seen last.
And that brings up a point about the companions, and I'm just interested to hear who you guys like the most. There's a lot of hate towards Clara, and I don't mind Clara. It wasn't. I thought up until this episode she had absolutely no feelings for the Doctor, and then they had landed in, you know, Truthville, and she said she fancies him real quick, and I'm like, fancies? That means wait a minute. So I've never had a problem with Clara. I had a problem with Rose. I don't know why. I just did until the very end, and then I liked her, and she went away, and I'm like, well, that's just great. And everybody else I was indifferent about, but I love the pawns. It took me 5 episodes to understand half of what Amy was saying, but I really like the pawns. So I'm interested to hear who you guys liked in terms of the sidekicks. So I'm gonna start with Jesse first.
I like the pawns a lot. I think up until the last season, I was getting a little tired of them, to be honest with you. And I don't say that really to be mean to them, but just the way they were written, I was in a way kind of ready to see them go. But then Clara came on, and I know some people have problem with Clara. I don't understand why, because I think she's cool. You know, I think she makes a good companion to the Doctor, and then especially, you know, like in the last episode, you see that she does care for him. You know, I don't know why people don't like her, to be honest with you. I guess maybe they still have feelings for Amy and Rory, probably.
Could be. Who's your favorite?
I think
out of all of them, you can go back to first if you want.
Of all of them, I think it would have to be a toss-up between Amy and Donna, because I think Amy, especially in the first couple seasons, she had an amazing chemistry with the Doctor, and then especially Donna. I mean, she was, you know, Catherine Tate's awesome to begin with, and she was just. She wasn't like, I mean, there was like I think there was more of a love interest between the Doctor and Rose, but Donna was just like his best bud, you know, and they had adventures together. And she was really sassy and quirky, and just the chemistry that she brought there. And actually, she would have been my first introduction to the Doctor's companions, because I started watching when Tennant was with Donna, so I have a little bit of an emotional attachment there, anyways.
Okay, what about you, Chris?
I was going to be partial to Amy. I can kind of understand the Clara hate, because like when she first comes on with Osmond, she's like 2 lines in and we're in love with her. Then she dies. And then we see the Victorian Clara, and we just start liking her, and she dies. And then we get the new Clara, and she's done really nothing. It's like we've had her for 10 episodes now, and she hasn't even had the breakout that she had in the previous 2 characters she played. We still need that good Clara episode.
That's true. Who would be your favorite?
I like Amy.
Amy. Okay. Shawn.
Donna's my favorite.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't in love with the Doctor, and that's part of the thing that kind of irked me with Clara, because they just like right away she's loving the Doctor and trying to kiss him and everything, and I'm like, quit pushing another love interest.
Was she?
Yes.
I missed all that.
And I didn't like it. And Rose, I think we've talked about this. I just can't stand Rose and her chiclet teeth.
So mean. Oh, you're so
Mean.
She's got the biggest caps. Tell me they're not giant cap teeth.
No, that's the only thing my mom said when she walked by the screen and saw it. She said that about her, and then she said, he's funny looking. I'm like, get out of here! She was talking about Matt Smith. I was like, I'm not hearing it. So, Natasha, who was your favorite?
I think Donna was my favorite because, like Shawn, reasoning, she wasn't in love with the Doctor. I would have said Martha, but she fell in love with him, and it was a total rebound, and it was just totally not happening. But then, as soon as she moved on from that, she was cool. Yeah, Donna is probably my favorite. I did like the Pawns, especially Rory, because he did a lot for Amy and for him, knowing that Amy kind of had feelings for him a little bit, especially in the beginning. You gotta give the man props for that.
He guarded her for, 1,000 years or something like that?
Yeah.
1,000.
Everybody loves Rory.
Yeah, I love Rory. Oh, and I loved Donna's granddad. And he was on there for such a short period of time, and I was so hoping he would have more episodes, because he was so adorable.
I liked him, too. But I'm a River Song fan. This is why I'm so traumatized.
Oh, and River. I can't forget about River, just because River was cool. I loved her hair.
all these characters associated with Matt Smith, it's like I don't know. I like the stories where all the Doctors, but I knew it was going to end, so I went into it knowing that it was going to end because I knew Matt Smith was already doing the Doctor. When I started Matt Smith, I didn't know it was going to end, and so the end song for the Pawns, it was like a slap in the face, right? And then I always knew what was going to happen because we saw what was going to happen to River back with Tennant. The very first episode we saw her, we knew what the ending was going to be. But I was in denial about that. And so, that episode where she basically says goodbye was I'm like, that was another kick in the gut. So I am just distraught over this entire ending sequence, and I don't know. What do you guys think about Clara and the new Doctor? Do you think she's going to be on the show for a while, or what do you think?
They're going to have to have her on at least for a little while because it is someone familiar, and we're getting to know the new Doctor, I guess, through her. So I think she'll be on there for at least a little bit before they switch companions. They kind of did that with Tennant, because Rose was on there for the longest time, and then they switched to Martha and then to Donna. So
that is true, and maybe Chris, she will do something. In the next
maybe we'll have that Clara episode, because like Chris said, I did enjoy Clara in those 2 episodes, and then since then I'm whatever. I'm not hating her, but I'm really indifferent.
Really? Indifferent.
I'm indifferent. I'm sorry. Like,
Poor Clara. I mean, Twitter was blowing up during the episode, and everybody was like, Clara was had. She was had twice, mind you. You fell for the same trick twice and stepped out of that TARDIS and looked shocked that it disappeared. I mean, I was like, when she picked up the turkey and walked out, I'm like, don't walk out of that. Like, what is wrong with you? You don't know what's going to happen. And I think, a big part of why I didn't necessarily like this episode was because I love Matt Smith, and for half of the episode, he was an old man, and I've got to see an older Doctor now for God knows how many years. So to see Matt Smith for half of the episode as an old man was like bothering me. I'm like, can you just put his pretty face up there, please? Yeah, I'm shallow. I don't care. So about that, why was he aging? I didn't understand that. I thought they didn't. I don't.
No, they got
aged.
older.
Yeah, remember when the Master aged 10?
No.
That's right.
Till he
Yeah.
turned into that weird little, like,
Yeah.
Dobby-looking character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but for a while when he had him in the wheelchair, that's what he would have eventually looked like if he'd lived as long as Matt Smith was the Doctor.
That's okay. I do remember that now.
okay.
And the TARDIS wasn't there, so, I mean, he just kind of like, all right, this is where I'm going to be, and I got to do my thing.
True. Because
And-
him being in the TARDIS, in and out the TARDIS like that, I mean, I would think that would keep him young too.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking because I have no clue. I seriously sat there and like, what is happening? So I don't know. I didn't know that he aged like that, and I didn't know that there was a limitation on how many times you can regenerate. When was that said?
That was set. I actually looked it up. It's the Deadly Assassin. It was back in 1976 with the Fourth Doctor.
Okay, so before any of us were, I was
I was
nobody
not
watched.
born. No,
Nobody watched. What is that noise?
not on my
Like a
end.
train.
Is there a train going by?
Yeah, that's me. Sorry. That's Jason working.
Is it? Yeah.
No, he's on vacation.
Yeah, so, wow, I didn't know that. And, okay, so how do you feel about how the writers address that? I mean, they pretty much were like, bam, here you go, now we can keep this going for another 50 years. So how do you think about
I didn't
that?
watch that episode that Chris was talking about, but I thought when they said it then, it was a law that the Time Lords had made, that it wasn't, that's all they had.
Well, with the Master, they've given him new regenerations because he's gone through his several times now.
Right. But I thought that was because he was killing off other doctors or something, or other Time Lords.
Then
No?
he gets a whole new set, and then during the Time Lord War, they brought him back, gave him a whole new set, and that's what he was burning through when we last saw him.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
then, of course, River gave her regenerations to Matt Smith, so I was like, all right, well, then that means he can regenerate more than 13.
We don't know, technically we don't know how many regenerations River had gone through at that point.
True.
Then
No,
he
she
gave
mentioned it.
some back to her too.
Right, when he fixed her wrist. How did he just pull that, regeneration
Yeah, that's what I was
energy
thinking.
out?
He has no regeneration, but he fixes her wrist.
Right.
No, she had mentioned how many she went through because when she was Melanie and that Hitler episode where she got shot, she said she hadn't done this since she was a kid, and we only last saw her when she got shot by her mom. Well, and then she changed into River, so she had only done 3.
Well, she wasn't shot when she was
She got
in New York. She wasn't feeling good, remember? Because the homeless guy sees her.
No, she was shot because Amy shot her when she was on that shot at the astronaut. She didn't know it was a little girl in there, and then
She didn't hit her.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought she
she
hit
did-
her.
It was
No.
a miss.
Really?
Yeah, and she was just no, it wasn't. It was Florida or whatever. When she's walking in the alley and she's like, "I don't feel good." It's so we don't technically know if that was the very first one that she did then, or her and the Mel's into.
Because we saw Mel grow up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then she changed into River, and then we saw the little girl in the astronaut suit, and then we saw her regenerate. I guess we don't know if she regenerated into Melanie or what, or if she had regenerations before that. I just assumed it was always 3, because why would a child need to regenerate so much?
Well, the time frame in which she was living, there was a lot of disease and stuff, so who knows?
Well, yeah, I guess I don't. But she wasn't a Time Lord, really. We don't really know what she was, because she was just happens to be a child that was conceived on the TARDIS. So.
No, wait. They say that in A Good Man Goes to War. Isn't she a part-time Lord? They said.
So would she get 13?
We wouldn't know how many regenerations she would have. She's like slowly evolving to what a Time Lord would be.
She's a mutant.
Shake and bake Time Lord.
She was an anomaly. She was awesome at what she was, and I'm mad. Okay, whatever. I don't want to get into it. I want to get over it.
I think Kim's having a hard time with this one.
I am. I really am.
And Jesse putting up all those reposts about the last few moments.
Oh yeah.
He's just evil.
It hurt me deeply.
And so you wanted everyone else to hurt just as bad? Is that what it was?
I wanted everyone else to feel my pain. If I'm going to hurt this much, I want everyone else to hurt this much too. That's not bad, is it? I mean,
it's a little bit.
Just a little bit.
It's a little bit. So now you guys get to answer my questions, because, like I said, I get lost all the time. And so I do have a question. One, Wait, what episode was this? No, I think I'm confusing episodes. Okay, no, I'm not. Okay, so when they go down to the town of Christmas, which is, the angels are there, and one of them grabs Clara. So why doesn't she disappear?
I just assumed they were too weak to do anything yet, because they in the one episode with River, they weren't sending anybody back. They were just killing them.
Yeah, maybe they're just out for blood this time.
Yeah. I wondered that as well. I was thinking about that.
Well, she wasn't completely out either. It was just her hand.
Yeah,
maybe the whole thing has to be there for them to do whatever.
See, now we're making.
There's a couple of them that had River in it. When they went for the crashed spaceship, and it had all the angels. They didn't send anybody back in time. They just killed them because they were all too weak. When River and Angels Take Manhattan, they were sending them back, but the one that grabbed River didn't send her back. She just ended up breaking her wrist because she was too weak, and I think that was part of it. They were just too weak.
I thought it didn't send her back because she was not normal. But here's the thing, because it's not explained, so you just got to kind of figure it out on your own, and I'm just not... I'll have too many scenarios in my head, and I'm like, I'm just going to ask, Chris. And see if he knows. But, so, and then, okay, the church, that mega church, and the woman that was ahead of it.
Mother Superius.
Right. They were talking about the people with the eye patches on, right, that raised River to be a killer for Doctor Who. So was that a section of their church? Because I thought she said that they defected or something like that, and they were responsible for blowing up his TARDIS.
Yeah, it was like they kind of broke off and they went after the Doctor, destroying the TARDIS, and they create the cracks that are what they were trying to stop in the first place.
Okay, did I completely miss that, or did they just explain it in this episode and you were like, oh, that's why that happened, or was it explained?
It was just this episode.
Okay, I'm like, what?
Because I was wondering why all of a sudden the Silence was actually working with the Doctor. That totally confused me, since they were totally against him from the jump.
It really confused me as well, and
I don't know why, and maybe that's part of the reason why I was just confused by this episode and just irritated. So
you feel lost. You feel like it's the first episode of Doctor Who you were watching. You're like, wait, no. And why is it? I don't look. The Daleks are like, I don't understand how they can fit inside bodies. Like,
well, that's the whole thing.
What is in there that at least this part?
Just the head stock, I guess. We saw them in skeletons. It was just coming out of the skull.
Right. They kind of went into that when with the first episode featuring Clara, but she was an actual Dalek.
Yeah, I know. It was weird. That episode
I think
weirds
they were
me
kind
out.
of transitioning to that, and they kind of went into that when they were in Manhattan, right? They were kind of trying to merge the humans and the Daleks together.
Oh, you're talking about the other one.
Yeah, like
We're going back
way
Manhattan.
back from when they were like in Manhattan.
You guys have better
And they had
memories
the
than I do.
pig warrior guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember
it
that.
was like a weird merge. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
they were experimenting it even back then, and so I'm not understanding why they keep on showing up.
Well, we've seen that though in Asylum of the Daleks too. When I don't remember her name, Susie cosplayed the girl who was like trying to get the doctor to help, and then she had the blue stem come out.
Yeah,
Ugh.
so
That
they're kind of like evolving with that.
he needs a good EMP. If he would travel with that, there would be no Cybermen and no Daleks. It would be done. It would be over and done with. But that like episode the first episode where we saw Clara, that creeped me out. I've only watched it once, and the episode with the library, with the first episode of River, that creeps me out. I can't watch. I mean, not only because my favorite character dies in that episode, but like it just what is killing everybody creeps me out. There are some episodes like that of Doctor Who where it's just like, ugh, that's a little scary and creepy. And I want to know who wrote that episode now.
Which one?
The one with the library.
That was Moffat.
That was Stephen Moffat.
Yeah.
Was it?
hmm
That's actually some of his better stuff.
Yeah. I do. Oh, poor Steven. I know he got bashed on Twitter too. So I mean, I don't know. That was all like, I don't know. Those were all my questions. I mean, what do you guys think overall? The 11th Doctor, his run. You know, how do you think it stacks up compared to some of the others? I'll go with. I'm sorry. I'll pick Natasha.
I mean, I've enjoyed all three so far, at least with the new Who. Unfortunately, I've not really had a chance to see any of the old Who's, so I can't really compare the older Who's. But I've just enjoyed all three. I think they've brought something unique to the show, each and every one of them so far. So, I mean, I definitely enjoyed Matt's run. I'm not really saying that he's my favorite. I don't really have a favorite, maybe except for Eccleston, just because he was the first Doctor that I actually watched. And he was only on for one season, and I wish he was on there for more.
I liked him too. I did. I liked him too. Okay, Chris, what about you?
I'm always gonna be. 10's always my favorite. I've watched a lot more Doctors than most of you have, so I've been going back and watching the early stuff. So I was catching a lot of the little hints and Easter eggs in the Time of the Doctor. Especially if you look at the drawings the kids have put up, you'll see the alien races that you never saw in the rest of the episode that have attacked while he's on the planet.
I was wondering about that because I saw like a giant spider, and I was like, I haven't seen a giant spider since
Donna.
Donna.
hmm
Yep, they attacked. There's the Slitheen were there.
Right, yeah.
I gotta watch this again.
I know.
I need to watch it again, even though I'm not.
Watch
But
the
10
puppet show. One of the puppets is a monoid, which was one of the first Doctor's villains. So the monoids were there too.
Oh, really?
I didn't
Okay.
even.
Yep. Monoids were in
I
one
didn't pay more
story.
attention to the pictures that, kids draw.
Well, it's been 49 years since they've been on the show. So.
Wow. I'm gonna go back and look at some of that stuff. That's good stuff. All right, Jesse, what about you?
When I started watching, it was Tenet. So Tenet's always been my favorite one, but I've got to say, Matt Smith is definitely my second Doctor. I really like him a lot. When I remember when he first regenerates out of Tenet, the first time I saw him, I was thinking, who is this person wearing David Tennant's clothes? I wasn't really feeling him too much, and then I watched the 11th Hour, and by the end of that episode, I was sold on the dude. And I never. Some of you will probably hate me for saying this, but I never really liked Eccleston. I still don't. There's just something about him that doesn't really resonate with me. Tennant and Matt Smith, and then going back to the old doctors, I like Baker. I do what I've seen of Baker. I really like him. But yeah, Matt Smith, number 2, Tennant definitely my doctor all the way.
All right, and Shawn.
Yeah, well, Tennant's always going to be my doctor because
Everybody loves Tennant.
he's awesome. I just want to fluff his hair. But anyway, no, I really like Matt Smith though. I, of course, was distraught when 10 turned into 11, and there was tears. There was tears for a while, but I liked the way Matt really played it, and it's hard to believe that he's the youngest guy who's played the Doctor because he came off so much older, and I really liked that he brought that to it. That he, the Doctor is supposed to be like 1,100 years old, and he wasn't playing it like a kid. He had his fun moments and his weird drunk giraffe dance at Amy's wedding. But I liked that he just came off older, and he just had this, I guess, like rubbery face is the best way to put it, where, like in A Good Man Goes to War, when he does his little, oh, I'm mad now, that's a new one for me, and he makes himself look so much older, and so I really liked his whole run. I wish they would have given him a little bigger final transformation, but I liked him. And then just seeing the panels, that he's been in when we were at San Diego and everything, and he was great. And I think he genuinely is, loving his fans and just being the Doctor.
Yeah, all my reasons for liking Matt Smith are superficial, but seriously, I like comedy, and so that first episode that he was in, just going through all the foods, I was like rolling, and I'm like, I'm gonna like this guy because he's hilarious. So a lot of the reason why I liked David Tennant, because he wasn't like screwball comedy, but if you would listen to him, he talks kind of fast, kind of like the show Psych, where he talks really fast, but if you're listening to what he's saying, it's actually hilarious. And so I really liked Tennant because of that, because he's just funny to me. I think if I saw more of John Hurt, I would like him. I think he would probably go really high up on the list. There's something about him that I really liked in the episodes. It could have been his chemistry with the other two, but I don't know. I think I would like him. So what do you guys want to most see from the new Doctor? I just hope he kind of, I don't know. He busted out with a line about his kidneys and he doesn't like the color. So I'm hopeful that he's going to be funny, because the serious, and I think that's what it was about Elkerson. He was so serious that, I mean, I liked him, and I liked his. I don't think I've ever seen a Doctor that I didn't like, but I didn't like him as much as the others because I like comedy. So, what do you guys hope to see from this new Doctor? We'll go with Jesse.
I'm gonna reserve all judgment until I actually see him in an episode, but just that little bit, I mean, with the kidneys and everything, I thought, and the way he's looking at Claire, it kind of like gets all up in her face and everything, like he's studying her a little bit. I don't know, there's just something about that I thought was kind of cool looking. I think he'll do all right. I have confidence in the casting and everything. I mean, everything I know, despite the things that we say about Moffat, I do think that he has some sort of an idea of what he's doing. So I'm hoping that he does this time, but I'm gonna just wait and see. I think because that was the way it was with me and Matt Smith. I wasn't sold on him until the 11th hour, so I think it's going to take that first episode for me to watch him, analyze him, and then come to my own judgment.
When is that first episode, by the way?
I think it's August.
Oh,
I know, right? I know.
We got a long way to wait.
I thought it was April, or isn't there usually like an Easter episode or something?
What they started doing, I think, with that, they used to run it from spring to half of it would be in the spring, half in the fall, then the Christmas episode. But I think what they're doing now is that the first part is in the fall, then the Christmas episode, then the second half is in the spring, and then they go back around. So I think that's how they're going to do it this time. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on that though.
Kind of like how the U.S. does their seasons?
Right, yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
All right, Natasha, what do you hope to see from this new Doctor, or do you not have any expectations at all?
I'm again reserving judgment. I mean, so far, who they've cast as the Doctor has worked out pretty well. I think that he's probably going to bring something, again, unique to him as the Doctor, and also maybe kind of be funny and serious when he needs to be. I mean, so far, all of them have done that. So, I mean, I don't think that's going to change.
Okay. Shawn?
They did say that he was supposed to be kind of darker than Smith, but I mean, he played it up like super comedian-like. So I think anything, even just not being a comedian, is darker. The only thing I'm waiting for is the big reveal of how, because they're supposed to address fires of Pompeii, because Capaldi's is in there. That's the only expectation I have, that they actually do that and explain somehow how he was there. I'm hoping to get something like he just wanted to go back and see Donna. I don't know.
What episode was that again? Because I'm going to have to go look it up. I don't remember seeing him, but I wasn't looking.
Fires of Pompeii?
Fires.
Wasn't that like the second or third episode with Donna?
I don't know where it fell.
I think it's the
Chris,
second.
Jesse. Like, what do you guys probably...
Well, I was going to say, if that's the case, then aren't they going to have to explain how Karen Gillan is in that as one of the priestesses?
They never addressed that, and she was on the show.
Yeah, she was one of the priestesses that had the eyes in the palm of her hand or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, do they really need to go back and address Capaldi? Can't we just say that he was just a dude? I mean, he doesn't have to. You know, I mean, I think Britain only has, 10 or 15 actors total.
The 12 actors and everything.
Yeah, you're always going to see him and everything. So, I mean, that's how that's how I take it.
I didn't expect them to, but Moffat said that they're supposed to address that with his character in Fires of Pompeii and in Torchwood, because I guess he was in an episode of Torchwood, which I have no idea. I haven't watched all of them.
Children of Earth. He was one of the doctors. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, so supposedly they're going to do it, but I think he'll be really good, and I'm just really hopeful that it's not going to be, a lot of people give up because he is an older Doctor. Kim.
Here's the thing. I won't give up because I started watching mainly because Chris was bugging me, but two because I knew I was going to see Matt Smith. And so, looking at Matt, if I just started with Matt Smith, I would have given him 4 episodes just based on his looks. Yes, I'm shallow. I don't care. With the new Doctor, I would have probably given him 2 just to win me over and then stop watching it. But now I'm a fan of Doctor Who because I went back from the Eccleston and watched it because I like the story. I like I like the whole cohesiveness of it. So I would watch. I will give the new Doctor a chance. I will watch like the first season. I'm just pouting. Don't mind me. I'm just pouting. All right, Chris. What about you?
I'm hoping he goes a little darker than Matt Smith. We've had kind of the comedic Doctor for a while. It's time to. They keep referring to him as a classic Doctor in New Who. That'd be kind of interesting to see. Yeah, he is the oldest actor to play the Doctor now. Because he's 1 year older than Hartnell was.
Oh, I thought they were the same age.
Oh,
because Hartnell was 55 and he was 56.
Oh,
he looks older than 56.
Yeah, both of them did.
I thought Hartnell was a lot older, to be honest.
Yeah, he looks older.
I was looking it up. He looks older than he was.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame.
I think we're going to have good things happen. And we're all going to be at Comic-Con Sunday in the Who panel. Screaming.
I don't know about that.
They better be there.
They should.
You have something.
They better not say anything about filming and they can't make it.
Well, they've been there though the last couple of years, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't gone every year though since the new Who started. They've had filming some years and they couldn't make it.
I think with them bringing in the new Doctor, this is just obviously personal opinion, nothing to back me up. Bringing in a new Doctor and us actually not seeing anything till August, that they'll be there to promote the heck out of it.
I would think so. Matt Smith's first year, he wasn't there, was he? I don't think he was there till the second.
I have no idea.
I haven't been there that many years. I don't know.
Yeah, that was.
Has all of us? When was our first con? Mine was last year.
Yeah, I've only been 2 years.
Mine was
years
last
now.
year, 2012.
I went in 2006 when I bought a ticket day of, and then didn't go back until like 2008 when I moved. I was in when I was in California, so and then I missed 1 year in between there. So I think I've been to 4 or 5, but I didn't know what Doctor Who was. I mean, I was sitting right next to Chris, and I left like after
You
Friends
left.
right before.
I was like, why are you leaving?
I know. I totally like. I just because I didn't. I'm kicking myself. So, I didn't watch Doctor Who back then, so I have no idea. But it spiked in popularity here in the U.S. I would imagine that they would keep bringing it back to Comic-Con to keep that going, if they can. It's a long way to fly.
Oh, they've had people fly out for just like a panel and leave. Come on. Yeah, what, the Avengers, or not the Avengers.
Guardians of the Galaxy, because they were filming in London, so yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you're right. He just flew in and flew right back out again for Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And didn't Merlin used to go every year?
I know they went
no
the
idea.
last season.
I don't know.
The last season's the only one I know for sure.
Okay.
They were there.
Okay, guys, I gotta wrap up here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you guys tell everybody where to find you, like your Twitter or Facebook or whatever you want to give out. We'll start with Shawn.
Oh, because I have the biggest list. Sorry. DVMPE.com. Almost Human Podcast. Also on Sleepy Hollow Podcast. Twitter, it's Almost Human Pod and Sleepy Hollow Pod. The email, the easiest is just at almosthumanpodcast@gmail.com and epicgeekdom.com and Nerdgasmatic. So I'm everywhere.
Wow. Everywhere. All right.
I'm like Big Brother.
It's all over the internet. Natasha?
You can follow me on Twitter at WillCat12. You can also follow me on @TheNerdElement on Twitter. We're on Facebook, Google+. I need to write on Tumblr.
Yeah.
Nerd Element, there you go.
Okay. Jesse?
We're the Nerd Truth on Facebook. Twitter, we're at Nerd Truth. We're on Instagram, the Nerd Truth. We're on the web, nerdtruth.com. Don't think I'm forgetting any. But my personal Twitter is I'm at the 7th candidate. It's THE, the number 7, TH candidate. It's all one word.
Okay. And I'm going to put this down in the comment section anyway so everybody can see it. And Chris, who I hope will do a vlog for us. Hint, hint. Chris,
Yep, at some point.
where can they find you on Twitter or?
I need to make some new accounts on there. So right now I don't have much for people to go to.
All right, but you're on Twitter, aren't you? Because I think
Yeah, I have a Twitter. I'm gonna make a new Twitter.
Okay. Well, if you make a new Twitter, we will put it down there in the comments for you guys to see. And I am at anime23 on Twitter or at the Nerd Element. We usually sign our tweets, so KW is me, NW is Natasha. If you see a rant and there is no signature, that is probably me because I have forgotten to sign my name. Natasha is a lot better at that than I am. All right, guys.
I don't know. Sometimes I forget too, and then it's random. It's really random sometimes.
It really is, so we apologize for that. But thank all of you guys for joining us on this special episode of TVTalk with Natasha and Kim. And we hope to have you guys on again. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.